Good afternoon. My name is Barbara Fuller, and as chair of the board, I welcome you to this January 3rd, 2023 regular meeting of the Washtenaw County Board of Road Commissioners. Our office coordinator, Erin Smith, will describe how our meetings operate, how to access the agenda packet, and how people may participate remotely. Erin.
Thanks, Chair Fuller. There are multiple ways to make public comment during today's meeting, whether you're joining us in person or virtually. If you're here in person and would like to make public comment, please fill out the sign-in sheet now. If you're joining us virtually, we will ask you to virtually raise your hand at the appropriate time in the agenda. If you're joining us virtually, the chat feature on the Zoom meeting is available only as technical support for users on their computer or smartphone. If you're experiencing technical issues with audio or video during the meeting, submit a comment in the chat feature and I will help you troubleshoot. If you're a staff member experiencing issues, please contact the IT help desk for assistance. The audio and video of this meeting is being recorded, and a link to the recording will be posted to wcroads.org in the next few days. There are printed copies of today's meeting agenda on the table here, and it is also posted on our website, and there's a link available in the chat if you're joining us virtually. And now I'll turn it over to Chair Barb Fuller.
Thank you, Erin. I now call this January 3rd, 2023 regular meeting to order and ask Erin to call the roll.
Chair Barb Fuller.
Present.
Vice Chair Rod Green.
Here.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas has an excused absence. Commissioner Joanne McCollum.
Present.
And the following directors are in attendance: Managing Director Cheryl Siddle, Assistant Director of Engineering Brett Schlack, Director of Operations Adam Lape, and Director of Finance and IT Dan Ackerman has an excused absence as well.
Thank you. Please join us in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented, please?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Erin, if you would please call the roll.
Commissioner Rod Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Joanne McCollum,
Yes.
Commissioner Barb Fuller.
Yes, the agenda is approved as presented. Next, we have one set of minutes to approve. May I have a motion to accept the board meeting minutes of December 20th, 2022, appearing on pages 3 through 13 of the board packet?
So moved.
Support.
Any changes, corrections, additions, or deletions? Seeing none, Erin, if you would please call the roll.
Commissioner Joanne McCollum,
Yes.
Commissioner Rod Green,
Yes.
and Commissioner Barb Fuller.
Yes, the December 20th minutes are approved as presented. Next is public comment. This is the time set aside on the agenda to receive comments from the public. This is not intended to be a period for dialogue. Each person will be allotted 3 minutes to address the board. Erin will explain how people may be recognized to offer comments.
Since this is a hybrid meeting with both in-person and virtual attendees, we will take turns between those attending in person and virtually. For virtual attendees, we ask that you virtually raise your hand now. If you're viewing the meeting on your computer, first make sure to click Join Audio. You can then raise your hand by clicking the Participants or Reactions button at the bottom of your screen and then the Raise Hand button. If you dialed into the meeting from your touch-tone phone, raise your hand by dialing *9. I will unmute virtual participants with raised hands one at a time. I will announce your username or last 4 digits of your phone number when it is your turn to speak. Please share your name and address before beginning your comments. For in-person attendees, we will start with those of you who have signed up on the sign-in sheet as you walked in. If you didn't sign in, you are still welcome to make comment. I'll notify you when it is your turn. At this time, Chair Fuller, there is no virtual or in-person hands raised.
Thank you. We will move on to written communications appearing on pages 14 through 18 of the packet. Commissioners, anything you wish to draw our attention to? Commissioner McCollum.
Yes, Madam Chair. I would like to comment on the articles that were placed on here about the snow days. the article in MLive about the full crew of snowplow drivers ready for multi-day cleanup. I really like that from powerful winter storm.
Mhm.
I like the information on how many miles the road commission handles, which is 1,600 miles of county roads and nearly 600 lane miles of highways and expressways. I like the article in the Ann Arbor 4, which I've never heard of that social media or newspaper or whatever that is. So I was glad to see that, introduced me to that. It was Arbor 4, all about Ann Arbor, especially the explanation of when it comes to deciding which roads to clear first. I really like that part of the article to let the public know how the snow removal is prioritized. The number one priority is the most traveled roads in the county, including highways and county paved roads. The reason for this is when it's snowing, the road commission focuses all of its efforts to keep these clear for emergency vehicles and travelers. I thought that all of the other articles in there it was very good in covering all areas so that it could reach most of the public in the Washtenaw County. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Green, anything?
No.
All right. We will move on, and there was no public comment, so we will move beyond that item on our agenda. Next, we have the consent agenda. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented? We have one item on the consent agenda, back up on pages 19 through 27. May I have a motion?
I so move, Your Honor. I'm
Support.
sorry, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none. Aaron, if you would please call the roll.
Commissioner Joanne McCollum,
Yes.
Commissioner Rod Green,
Yes,
and Commissioner Bart Fuller.
Yes, the consent agenda item is approved as presented. We have no action items to consider today, so that is not part of our agenda for now. We'll move on to reports. Do we have a county commissioner with us, Aaron?
Not at this time.
Not today. Okay. Moving on, Commissioner McCollum.
I do not have a report.
All right, Commissioner Green.
I would just like to say that I was out on Christmas Day for a short period, and I was very pleased to see that I saw at least 5 vehicles out. So they were out in full force and visible on Christmas Day, all throughout the day. So I'd just like to commend our managing director and the entire staff for being visible and doing a great job during the holiday.
Thank you. Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Commissioner
I just
McCollum.
remembered I do have something to report.
Okay.
At least this was after the last meeting, the dedication
Mhm.
for US 12 and M17. I attended that dedication and it was very good with State Rep Peterson, who helped us get a safe way to cross into the business section from West Willow neighborhood to Ecorse Road. We have not had any incidents as far as fatal incidents since that has been redone, and it's beautiful. We went out of our way a little bit to see the sign. It's beautiful. And so that just glamorized the area. So I'm very thankful for it. Thank you.
You're welcome. I will report that on December 21st, I was the commissioner for the chat session. We had no visitors from the public. Later that afternoon, with Commissioner McCollum, I attended the dedication of the M17 US 12 corridor improvements in Ypsilanti Township. It was great fun. It was well attended. What would you say, 30 people
At least. Yeah.
joined us there?
Yes.
Commissioner, State Representative Ronnie Peterson was there to describe how the funding came together. He did a great job in wrangling that money to get that project approved. $8 million? Correct.
Yes.
For that project. I was very impressed. It was lovely. We got in some vans from a couple of churches and got chauffeured over and got out and walked around, and the plantings are going to be beautiful. They're a little sleepy right now, but it's going to be very nice. So I commend Commissioner McCollum for your input on that from the West Willow organization, and for Representative Peterson for being dogged and determined to get the funding to have those improvements become a reality. Then on December 22nd, I attended the McChrysip webinar about best practices for road commissioners and board meetings. That session will be offered 2 times again in the future, and I believe both of you are registered
Yes.
for that session. It was very worthwhile, went about 90 minutes. And then on December 28th, I was the commissioner for the chat session. We didn't have any visitors of the public at that time either. But we had a nice chat. So we will move on now to the managing director's reports and her staff reports, along with any updates for the commission.
All right.
Carol.
Good afternoon, commissioners. I just have one brief update, and that is that I did speak with Greg Dill and Justin Hodge this morning. So it looks like it's going to be at least a couple of weeks, if not a couple of months, before we have an appointment for the replacement for the remainder of Commissioner Doug Fuller's term. In the meantime, we have our chat schedule. And so I had asked Aaron to place the existing commissioners into the chat schedule alphabetically where we had shown vacancies, at least through March. So Commissioner Barb Fuller has already attended one. Commissioner Green, you indicated you were not available on the 11th of January. So we've switched between you and Commissioner Yamas. So if you're not available in February, please let us know. But right now we'll put you in for February, and Commissioner McCollum will put you in for March. So at least that should get us through the first quarter of 2023. And hopefully we have a new commissioner on board at that point. And we will keep moving forward.
I'd just like to point out to the commissioners and anyone else who is accessing the chat schedule that Aaron has put the date of the latest version in the footer of those, because we've had some movement there. So be sure to check to make sure you're looking at the right one. I think the most recent one was December 29th. Aaron, I think is the date for that one. So that should be the one you're referencing. And there will be another when we hear who the 5th commissioner is going to be.
That is correct.
All right.
So that's it on my end. I'll be happy to turn it over to staff.
Please.
And we'll start off with Adam Lape, our Director of Operations, who's been quite busy over the last few weeks.
Good afternoon. Adam Lape, Director of Operations. Brief update today. Just wanted to highlight staff that they were very successful over the Christmas holiday weekend. They kept pretty busy. Got the roads clear, kept everybody moving around. So appreciate all the compliments. Very much deserved for sure for the crew. Most staff worked about 50 hours or a little bit more. Yeah, so pretty busy. I just want to thank everybody on my team, the group, and then all the support for the rest of the agencies. It's been phenomenal. Like, we had all our equipment, all our material. You know, the lights came on when we came in that morning and kept going for a couple of days there. So very much appreciated the missed time with family, but it's a rewarding end result for a lot of us to see that road nice and clear when we're done. So
That started Thursday night?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we started with our night patrol on Thursday night, and they set us up pretty good for Friday, which turned out to be uneventful. It worked out good. Kept the roads about as dry as we could. And then Saturday, a little bit of surprise here and there with some weather that came through, but we kept after it. And luckily the wind was blowing hard enough that it blew a lot of the snow out of the subdivisions and kept it. So it was easy for us by the time we got in there Monday to put some salt down and kind of get things back to normal. So very good. And then the other thing, we just continue estimating for the 2023 project season, just building up, putting the township projects together. So if there aren't any questions, that's the update for this afternoon.
Anything?
No question.
Thanks to the
Thank you.
crew and thanks to the families that
Yeah.
had to do without
Thank
those
you very
members
much.
for a while, but
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Adam. Next up, we have Brent Schlack, our Assistant Director of Engineering.
Hi, good afternoon, Brent Schlack, Assistant Director of Engineering. Happy New Year to all of you.
Thanks, Brent.
As far as a report from engineering, there's really nothing new. We had a lot of staff that were off. We do have one project that's going, it's a millage project, Ellsworth and Oak Valley, that intersection project. They're trying to get that ready for the mast arm steel to come in this spring. So that project's ongoing. Other than that, we're just preparing projects for design for a bid package this spring. Actually, and hopefully by February, we'll have some in the MDOT bid letting. So other than that, that's my report.
Any
If there's
questions?
any questions?
I don't see any.
All right, thank you,
you.
Brent.
Thank you.
And I did excuse Dan Ackerman, our Director of Finance and IT from today's meeting since they are doing physical inventory counts. So he's out back.
Counting paper clips?
Yeah, pretty much all the things in the shop, which believe me, there are a lot of widgets out in the shop area. So this is clearly a busy time of year for all of them in finance. I assured him that I would share that they are actively closing out year end so that we can, close those books, and the audit does start January 30th. So, yep.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
I
Commissioner
would-
McCollum.
I wanted to make a comment about the IT report. I saw that there was 92 new tickets and 95 were closed, and I think that is awesome. I know that the 3 were probably carried over, but that looks like 100% to me, maybe even over. And we haven't gotten to human resources and recruiting report yet, have we?
No.
Okay, so that's what I wanted to say about the IT report, that I just noticed the number of tickets that were closed. And I just think that's great to see that. I wish that could be everywhere.
Chris and Josh are awesome in their service support for the rest of us. Yes, I don't know how many of those were Cheryl Siddle, but thank you. I can assure you that at least a handful of them were. So, yeah, they are very responsive, and it is much appreciated by the rest of the organization.
Thank
And I
you.
am happy to answer any questions about the HR report as well.
Well, I was just going to say that congratulations to Craig Timmer for becoming certified as an American Heart Association instructor. I think recently seeing the game on what happened, how important that is to have someone around that has that kind of knowledge. It's so important.
Agreed.
So congratulations on him sacrificing time for that. Thank you.
Can I just spin off of Commissioner McCollum's comment for a minute? Do we do CPR training for our
We-
folks here in the AEDs and?
We do.
Yeah.
We do. And we have for years, have provided the CPR and first aid training to our staff, but we've always brought in someone from either the Red Cross or the American Heart Association to perform that training for us. And now that we have a safety coordinator who has the interest, the ability, the background to be able to do this, he offered to become fully certified so that we could provide in-house training. And then we did purchase the equipment to be able to do so. And actually, within 1 year, that actually came out financially to our advantage to be able to provide that training. But it is something that we have taken very seriously and will continue to take very seriously for all the reasons, like you said last night, was pretty scary, I'm sure, for all involved.
Yeah.
And do we also have the defibrillator equipment or anything like that?
We do. We have AEDs strategically placed throughout the building. I believe there's one in the back hall and there's one out in the shop area as well.
You know how to use them?
No.
Can you let us know when there's a training? I know in a previous position that I held, it was a requirement that everybody in the organization, I think it was annually, went through the course. And it was often a refresher, but it's, boy, it's the little things you forget that can make a big difference and give you a level of comfort that, oh, there's the AED and I know how to use that. And so if you can let us know if there's an occasion where we can hop in and take that training. I'd appreciate a refresher on that myself.
Can follow up on that, no
Okay.
problem.
And then I hope we never have to use it. ever.
Yes.
Exactly. Anything else?
Is that it? Any other questions? No? Okay. I will move us on then. Please note that our next meeting is January 17th. We have a working session at 9 a.m. followed by a board meeting at 1 o'clock. Our virtual chat sessions continue on every Wednesday from noon to 1 p.m. I will be on board for that tomorrow, and then on January 11th, it will be Commissioner Yamas. Also, if folks could make sure their calendars reflect that on January 30th, we have the Southeast Council Road Commission's meeting that takes place in Lenawee County, I believe. So if that's something that you're able to attend, you'll be asked at some point, are you going? Because they order lunch so that we end up with a little bit of food in there somewhere. So.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Commissioner
Is-
McCollum.
Yes, is there something in our email or about the Southeast Council meeting?
I don't know if I've seen one lately.
We have not received a formal invitation yet.
Okay.
As soon as we receive that, Erin will send it out and ask if you're interested in going, and she'll coordinate our registration and attendance for that. Typically, those are quarterly meetings, and it's usually February, May, August, and November. But the February meeting, the first Monday, often falls, as it does this time, right up against the county engineers workshop. And since a lot of the people are going to both, at the last Southeast Council meeting, the group agreed to move the Southeast Council meeting a week early. So that's why it's January 30th instead of the first Monday in February. But as soon as we get an invite for that, we'll send it out.
Thank you.
Do we know when we're hosting next? It's been a while.
Based on the typical rotation, we should be hosting, I believe, in August.
Okay,
August.
August.
all right. If there's no further business or questions to come before the board, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Support.
Erin, if you would please call the roll.
Commissioner Joanne McCollum,
Yes.
Commissioner Rod Green,
Yes.
and Commissioner Bart Fuller.
Yes. The meeting is adjourned unanimously. Thank you, everyone. Have a good new year. See you on the 17th. Thank you.